On the night of our engagement party, my fiancée told me she needed a moment alone with her best friend. 10 minutes later, I found them in my office with her dress hiked up. I shut the door silently, went back to the party, and proposed a toast to loyalty, honesty, and surprise endings. Then I played the security footage on the living room TV. I'm not sure how to even start this, but I'll try. I'm 38 now. This happened when I was 37. I live in Denver, Colorado. I own a small construction business and I'd been with Marissa for 3 years when this all blew up. Marissa was the kind of woman people noticed when she walked in a room. Dark hair, sharp green eyes, and this confidence that felt rare. She didn't talk just to talk. She wasn't loud, wasn't fake. She was calm, like someone who always knew exactly what she wanted. That's probably what made all of this worse. We met at a Rockies game. My buddy's girlfriend brought her along, and we ended up sitting next to each other. She was smart, funny, didn't pretend to care about baseball. We got drinks after the game, and that was that. Fast forward 3 years, we were engaged. I thought I'd found my person. We had inside jokes. We made weekend plans. She liked the same old music I did. We didn't fight much, and when we did, it was calm. Adult. Like how it should be. Her best friend, Paul, was always around. They'd known each other since they were teenagers. Grew up together in Fort Collins. Went to CU Boulder at the same time. She told me they had tried dating once when they were 19, but it didn't work. She swore up and down that there was nothing between them anymore. He's like my brother, she said. You have nothing to worry about. I tried to believe her. I really did. But something about Paul rubbed me the wrong way. He was smooth. Too smooth. The type of guy who joked about being a hopeless flirt but never respected boundaries. He'd make comments about Marissa's clothes. How good she looked. Even in front of me. Once, I told her it made me uncomfortable. She got quiet. Then said I was being insecure. Controlling. That Paul had been there long before me, and if I had a problem with him, maybe I didn't trust her. So I let it go. I didn't want to be that guy. The jealous type. Now I wish I'd trusted my gut. The engagement party was my idea. I wanted to make it special. We hosted it at our house, which I had bought the year before. Fixed it up myself. It was the first home I'd ever owned, and it meant something to me. I wanted our closest people there. About 40 guests. My parents came in from Grand Junction. Her parents drove down from Fort Collins. Friends, co-workers, a few cousins. It was the kind of night where everything felt good. Laughter, music, drinks, people taking pictures in front of the fireplace. At around 9:30, Marissa came up to me, gave me a soft kiss on the cheek, and said, I need to talk to Paul for a minute. Just the two of us. He's been acting weird lately. I didn't think twice. Okay, I said. They walked upstairs together. I figured maybe he was being dramatic or emotional about her getting married. Whatever. But then 10 minutes passed. Then 15. I wasn't worried at first. I just went upstairs because my phone was charging in the bedroom. When I got up there, I saw the door to my office slightly open. Not enough to notice at first, just a crack. But something made me pause. Then I heard it. A sound. I didn't want to believe it. I stepped closer. Then I saw them. Marissa was bent over my desk. Her dress pushed up. Paul behind her. Moving. Her head was down. His hands on her waist. I didn't move. I didn't say a word. I just stood there. Then I closed the door. Quiet. Slow. Like I hadn't seen a thing. I walked back downstairs like nothing had happened. People were still drinking, dancing, talking about wedding plans. Laughing. I stood in the living room and stared at everyone. My hands were cold. My heart was pounding. But my mind was clear. 2 weeks before the party, while Marissa was in Fort Collins visiting her sister, I had a break-in scare. I installed a small security cam in my office. Hidden. Just in case. Never took it down. I walked into the den, opened the security app on my tablet, and pulled up the footage. The timestamp matched. The image was clear. The sound was on. I sat there watching my fiancée get fucked by her best friend in my office during our engagement party. I didn't feel pain. Not yet. Just a strange kind of calm. Then I got up. I walked into the living room, tapped my fork against my glass, and raised my voice. "Hey, everyone. Can I get your attention for a second?" Everyone turned. Smiling. Tipsy. Expecting a toast. I raised my glass. "I just want to say something real quick." A pause. To loyalty, to honesty, and to surprise endings. Some people laughed. A few clapped. Then I hit play. The big flat screen on the wall lit up. The security footage filled the screen. People gasped. At first, they didn't get it. Then the angle shifted. Then it was clear. The room went dead silent. Someone dropped a drink. Her mom screamed. Paul's girlfriend collapsed onto the couch. My brother looked like he wanted to throw up. Marissa came running down the stairs a few seconds later. She saw the screen. She froze. Her face turned white. Then she started shouting. Crying. Screaming for me to turn it off. I didn't. I walked out. Got in my truck and drove to my brother's place. I didn't go back that night. Or the next day. Or the day after that. But the real revenge? That came later. And it wasn't just about humiliation. It was about taking everything back. Everything they thought I wouldn't notice. Everything they thought they could get away with. It got worse before it got better. Much worse. The morning after the party, I woke up on my brother's couch. I hadn't slept much. My phone had blown up overnight. 47 missed calls from Marissa. 11 from Paul. A bunch of texts from her mom, her sister, even a few of our mutual friends asking me what the hell happened. I didn't reply to anyone. My brother, Nate, sat next to me in the kitchen around 7 a.m., handed me coffee, and said, "So, what now?" I didn't know. I didn't want her back. That part was clear. But I also didn't want to just disappear and let them move on like nothing happened. Like I was just some minor detour on their way to screwing each other in broad daylight. By noon, I drove back to the house. She was there. Sitting on the front steps, red-eyed, wrapped in a hoodie. Her makeup was smeared like she hadn't slept. As soon as I pulled in, she ran up to the truck. "Please, just let me talk," she started. I rolled down the window just enough. "Get your stuff. You've got 1 hour." She started crying again. "It was a mistake, I was drunk, don't insult me." She stood there, sobbing, hands shaking. "Please, can we go inside and talk?" I didn't move. I didn't blink. "You have 1 hour." I left again and went to get lunch. When I came back, her car was gone. The ring was in a tiny box on the kitchen counter. No note. Just silence. I stayed in that house for 2 more weeks, but I couldn't breathe in there. Every room felt like a trap. The bed, the living room, even the stupid throw pillows she'd picked out from some overpriced online store. I sold everything. Almost all of it. The couch, the dining table, the bed frame, even the art on the walls. Then I started digging. I found out they'd been sleeping together for months. Not just once. Not just a slip-up. Paul's girlfriend, Mia, reached out to me after the video went viral. Yeah, someone filmed the moment and put it on TikTok. Over 500,000 views in a week. Dude exposes cheating fiancé with live footage at party. It even hit a few Reddit threads. My face was blurred, but people figured out it was Denver. Mia was furious. She sent me screenshots. DMs, emails. Hotel bookings. They'd been meeting up since Marissa's so-called girl weekends. Paul had been lying to Mia, too. And get this, he told her he was planning to propose after our wedding, once things had settled down. I don't know what kind of fantasy world they were living in. I forwarded every screenshot to Marissa's parents. To her job's HR email, too, because some of their messages crossed into work hours on her company laptop. Not smart. I wasn't trying to destroy her life, but I also wasn't going to protect her anymore. A week later, I heard through a friend that she got asked to resign. Paul got dumped by Mia, and someone slashed the tires on his BMW. Not me. I was busy. What I did do was something different. I had a lawyer draft a formal complaint for misuse of shared property. My home was bought before our engagement, in my name. But she had been using the address to get Amazon deliveries. I documented everything she had ordered on my account: expensive skincare, clothes, yoga gear, even gifts for Paul, which I had receipts for now. We filed a small claims case. I wanted my money back. All of it. People said I was being petty. No. Petty is keeping quiet so people don't feel uncomfortable. Petty is letting things slide because it's the mature thing. This wasn't petty. This was me refusing to be the guy they walked over. But then came the twist I didn't see coming. Paul's older brother, Eric, called me. Said he needed to meet in person. He sounded weird. Nervous. We met at a bar. I thought maybe he wanted to apologize on behalf of his family or tell me to back off. He didn't. What he told me made everything worse, and made me realize I still didn't know the full story. He leaned in, quiet, and said, "I need to tell you something about Paul. Something Marissa might not even know." What he told me? It changed everything. Eric looked like he hadn't slept in days. His hands kept shaking. He wasn't drinking, just sipping water with a lime. I'd barely sat down before he leaned across the table and said, "I don't know how to say this, man. But you need to know. Paul's not just a cheater. He's dangerous." I just stared at him. Dangerous how? Eric glanced around the bar like someone might be listening. You ever hear about what happened to his ex in 2020? Ashley? From Phoenix? I shrugged. No. Why? Eric took a breath, then said it flat. She filed a restraining order against him. Claimed he stalked her after they broke up. He keyed her car. Showed up at her job screaming. Even broke into her apartment once when she was out of town. Cops got involved, but charges didn't stick. Lack of evidence. I sat back in my chair. He went on. He's good at making people think he's the victim. Especially women. He'll cry, tell them he's misunderstood, promise to change. Then he messes them up worse. I didn't know what to say. It explained a lot. The manipulation. The way he got Marissa wrapped around his finger. The way she always defended him like her life depended on it. Eric pulled something from his coat, an old iPhone. This was Ashley's. She mailed it to me after she moved. She didn't want to be found. I saved some of the voicemails. He pressed play. Paul's voice came out of the speaker. Loud. Angry. You think you can just leave? After everything I did for you? You're nothing without me. Nothing. Then another one. You made me do this. Don't act like I'm the problem. And another. Softer. Creepier. I watched you last night. That guy you were with? He's next. I felt sick. Eric looked at me. I didn't come here for revenge. I just figured you'd want to know what you're dealing with. You're not the first person he's hurt. It wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was about danger. I started thinking back. The weird texts Marissa would get late at night. The way she flinched sometimes when Paul touched her, even though she laughed it off. The time she showed up late to dinner with smudged makeup and said traffic had been bad, even though she came from 5 blocks away. Was it possible she wasn't just cheating, but also scared? I didn't know what to believe. But I knew one thing, I had to dig deeper. I called Mia that night. Paul's ex. She had blocked him after the party but agreed to talk to me in person. We met at a coffee shop the next morning. She was tense. Guarded. He messed me up, she said. Not just the cheating. He messed with my head. Made me feel crazy. One night, I caught him reading my diary. Another time, I woke up and he was standing over me, just watching. He said he was protecting me. Then she told me something that made my skin crawl. After your party, he texted me from a new number. Sent a picture of my dog. Said he saw me at the dog park and thought I looked lonely. I haven't been back since. I reported the number. Called a buddy in IT who helped me trace the IP on some of Paul's emails. One of them was sent from a hotel Wi-Fi the day after I exposed them, in my neighborhood. This wasn't over for Paul. He wasn't just ashamed or laying low. He was watching. Planning. Waiting for something. And somehow, Marissa was still in contact with him. I found that out when I got a call from her old college friend, Jenna. Look, I know we haven't talked, she said, but Marissa called me 2 nights ago. She's scared. She didn't say much, just that she made a mistake, and now Paul won't leave her alone. I asked if she was staying at her parents' place. No. She hasn't been there since the party. Her mom's worried sick. So where was she? That night, I drove by Paul's condo. Sure enough, her car was parked outside. And his lights were on. I sat in my truck outside Paul's condo for over an hour. Her car was there. His lights were on. It was almost midnight, and I kept thinking maybe I should just leave it alone. Maybe I'd done enough. But that's the thing about betrayal. Once it sinks in, once it burns its way into your bones, it doesn't let go. Not until it gets what it came for. I got out, walked to the edge of the building, and looked up. 3rd floor. Lights on in the front room. Then I saw her. Marissa. She was standing by the window, arms crossed, talking to someone out of sight. Her face was pale. She looked tired. Not scared. Not guilty. Just hollow. I could have gone up. Could have knocked. Could have screamed, demanded answers, told her she destroyed everything good we had. But instead, I left. Because I already had a plan. 3 days later, I filed a restraining order against Paul. I used the voicemails from Eric's phone, Mia's statement, the traced IP addresses. I even submitted copies of the security footage. I claimed he was a danger to me and others around me. And it stuck. A judge granted it. Paul was banned from coming near me, my job sites, or even contacting me online. That wasn't the satisfying part, though. No, that came a week later, when I finally got into the storage locker Marissa had been using. She didn't know I had a copy of the spare key. She'd hidden some stuff in there after the party. What I found changed everything. Inside one of the bins were letters. Handwritten, dated months back. Notes from Paul to Marissa. At first, they were romantic. Graphic. Begging her to leave me. Then they got darker. You said you'd do it by April. I'm not waiting forever. If you really love me, prove it. You're making me feel used. I gave up everything for you. One letter said, I watched him leave your house last night. I could have ended it then. Don't make me do something I'll regret. It wasn't just a messy affair. It was something else. He was obsessed. Possessive. Controlling her. I scanned every page, gave it to my lawyer, and then, here's where I made my move. I sent copies to her employer's ethics board. Because remember, she worked at a finance firm. A company that handles big clients. High trust. She'd used company devices to coordinate meetups with Paul. That broke every rule in their handbook. She didn't just get fired. She got blacklisted. Denver's finance world isn't huge. Word travels fast. Paul, meanwhile, violated the restraining order within a month. He showed up at one of my job sites, drunk, yelling about unfinished business. My foreman called the cops. Paul resisted arrest. That's when the charges stuck. He got 90 days in county jail. And Marissa? She called me a month later. Said she wanted to talk. Said she didn't know how to get away from him. Said she'd made a mistake. Said she didn't even know why she did what she did. I met her at a diner just outside of town. I told her I wanted her to say it to my face. Tell me why she picked him. Why she humiliated me. Why she ruined what we had. She cried. Said she never meant to hurt me. Then I asked her one thing, why did you lie when I asked you if anything was going on months ago? She looked down. Then she said, because I didn't want you to leave. And that's when I finally knew. She never picked Paul. Not really. She just never wanted to lose anyone. She tried to keep us both. And in doing so, she lost everything. I left without saying another word. I moved out of Denver that summer. Sold the house. Took a job out in Durango. New start. I'm not a hero in this story. I was too blind, too trusting, too proud. I should have spoken up when I saw the signs. Should have walked away sooner. But I made sure they paid for what they did. I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I let the truth do all the damage. And in the end, it did. To all of us.